So people don't realize that having driver's license is a privilege, especially for our undocumented community. It's not just a privilege, but also a necessity. For example, imagine that it's the beginning of the pandemic and you are going to pick up your daughter from school. It is around March, so it's still cold. So while you're driving, there is a cop that stops you, and you look at your daughter and she's scared. She's only 3 years old, and she tells you, "Daddy, Daddy, what's happening?" And you say, "Nothing, daughter. Everything's gonna be okay." So as the ICE agent or immigration officer gets near your car, they say, "Sir, license and registration." You pretend that you're looking for your driver's license, but in reality, you know that you don't have one. So you tell the officer, "I'm sorry, officer, I don't have one." That moment, you look at your daughter with tears in your eyes because you know what's going to happen next. The officer looks at you and says, "Sir, please get out the vehicle, put your hands up in the air." And that moment, you are separated from your family because you got caught driving without a license. Even though you wanted to get it, you couldn't because you don't have it. And the state of PA does not allow you to get a driver's license, even though you have contributed through taxes and paid everything that needed to get paid. You couldn't even get that because it's not legal. Now, I was undocumented for a really long time, for 12 years. And then I was now I have DACA, which DACA allows me to get an employment card and also give me a driver's license. But I know what it is to be in fear. I know what it is for people in my community to have that fear of driving without a license. Now, first, I would discuss about a driver's license being a basic need. Second, I will discuss about the HB 2835. And finally, I will discuss how it is you need to be a tax filer to qualify for this bill. But why having a driver's license requires you to meet your basic needs, such as going to work, going to school, taking your family on a weekend getaway. But also, it's a necessity for rural areas. We live in the city. I know I live in the city. So I don't really need it because there's public transportation. But in most places, there's none. If it comes once every hour or twice a day. So they actually need it to get to school or work. But also, it's a public safety. It allows us to know who is on the road. And not just that, but they must pass the regular PennDOT instructions, which comes to the exam before that, and pass the medical exam as well to even obtain a driver's license. And it keeps families together. As I said before, this is one of the reasons that people get separated from their families, because they got caught driving without a license. New Sanctuary Movement did a poll for 200 of their members, and out of 200 of their members, 50% of them said that they want a driver's license to be able to live at peace with their families. And like mentioned below, people get detained for driving without a license. Now that I discuss why driver's license is a necessity, I would discuss about the bill being in the House right now that will allow undocumented people to drive in Pennsylvania. This bill is called HB 2835. It got introduced on September 1st, 2020 by PA Democrats. So we used to have in PA the driver's license in 2001. After 9/11, laws started to change. In 2009, driver's license got taken away for every undocumented individual. But this year, like I said, on September 1st, 2020, it got introduced by the House Democrats. Now, the bill sponsor is Danilo Burgos from the 197th District. It also got co-sponsored by Joe Hohenstein, which is in the 177th District, Elizabeth Fielder from the 188th District, and Mary Isaacson from the 175th District. Now, Joe Hohenstein from the 177th District is a former attorney and also one of my former boss. So he knows what it is to work with families who've been detained and families who got their family and their loved ones separated and got deported to their home country. Other states such as New York, New Jersey, New Mexico, Utah, California, Delaware, Oregon, and others have passed similar legislations around driver's license for undocumented community. Now, on November 10th, 2020, we are going to fight. They're going to vote on this legislation, and we need more co-sponsors. So in order for you to support this, it will be great for you to call your state representative to become a co-signer for this bill. Again, the bill is HB2835, and you could also go to mailbot.com and find more information around licenses. Now that I've discussed a little bit about HB 2835 and that it got introduced in the House, now I will discuss how you need to be a taxpayer to qualify for this bill if it gets approved and put into law. In order for, if we get this, we will get revenue. The state will get compensated with this. Now, 1 in 4 people in PA are undocumented, and 1 in 10 entrepreneurs are undocumented. And this will help because once they get that, they will pay the PennDOT fee of like $31 that we pay here in PA. And then according to Deanna Polson, which is a policy analyst with the PA Budget and Policy Center, the state will earn $13 million increased revenue over 3-year taxes, registration, and vehicle purchases. Now, once the undocumented has paid up to date on $532.8 million in taxes, $33.7 billion in spending power, and $338.9 million in federal taxes. Now, having now how do people pay taxes? People need to go to the IRS and get this thing called an I-10, which is an individual taxpayer number that people put in place instead of a Social Security. So with that, once they're at the end of the year, when it comes to paying their taxes, they put that number in instead of a social, which allows them to pay taxes. Like I mentioned before, they are already paying taxes. And even now, through the pandemic, they were not able to qualify for the stimulus check or unemployment. So this, at least, even though they won't be able to qualify for that, even with disabilities or Social Security, when they get older, they'll be able to qualify for something called a driver's license that will allow them to have freedom and peace of mind. Now, I discussed what it is to driving being a basic need. Second, I discussed the bill HB 2835 and how, in order to qualify, you need to be a taxpayer. Those are all the requirements. And next time you go out on the road and you drive, you think about it. Driving is a privilege, but for a lot of people who are undocumented, that is a necessity. And this necessity is getting a lot of families to get torn apart. So if you want to support this cause, please call your state representative to co-sign that bill HB 2835. Again, they are going to vote on this on November 10, 2020, because it's time for our community, for my village who helped raise me, to stop living with fear while driving to do their necessities. Thank you.